In this video, I'm going to be teaching you the floor cogs exercise. It involves motion at the pelvis, the rib cage, and the neck. So we're going to be using our breathing in addition to moving these three crucial areas in order to increase the mobility of our spine and start to coordinate those movements with our breathing. So we'll start lying on the ground in a hook lying position, so that means knees bent to 90 degrees with feet flat on the ground. From there I'll kind of walk you guys through it and I'll show you exactly step by step what you need to do. So again, feet flat on the ground, low back is nice and relaxed, arms just held out to the side. We'll involve our arms later on, but first we'll start with movement at the pelvis. What you're going to do is you're going to arch your back so that your belly button kind of lifts upwards towards the ceiling, and the front part of your pelvis, where your belt buckle would normally be, starts to point downwards towards your feet. So that would be an anterior pelvic tilt. And then to reverse that motion, you're going to flatten your low back against the ground, tailbone tucks underneath you, and you should feel a slight abdominal contraction. That would be a posterior pelvic tilt. So now let's coordinate those two movements of our pelvis with breathing. So on our inhale, you're going to anteriorly pelvic tilt, low back comes off the ground, belt buckle down towards your feet, and on your exhale, posterior pelvic tilt, low back flattens against the ground, feel some abdominals contracting. So again, rock forwards and rock backwards. If you notice, when you tilt your pelvis forwards, you're naturally going to get a reaction of the rib cage going upwards towards the ceiling. That's completely fine, and that also coordinates with an inhalation, so a breath in. As you breathe in, you should feel your rib cage lift upwards and out in front of your body, and as you exhale, those ribs should drop down and push backwards down into the ground. So now to coordinate the pelvis with the rib cage while breathing at the same time, on your inhale, pelvis tips forwards, rib cage lifts upwards, and on your exhale, pelvis tilts backwards, low back flat against the ground, rib cage drops, so the front of your ribs and the front of your pelvis are coming closer together. You can also think of it that way. So on your inhale, that space is increasing, and on your exhale, that space is coming closer together. In addition, now that we have movement of our pelvis coordinated with movement of our rib cage, in addition to the breathing, we're going to get our neck involved. So as you inhale, pelvis tips forwards, rib cage lifts up, chin tucks down closer to your to the front part of your chest. On your exhale, all those motions reverse. If you're dealing with any pain, make sure you go through a little bit of range of motion. Everything should be nice and comfortable. Don't push into ranges of motion that increase your pain. As you get better with the exercise, as your pain starts to reduce, then you can go through a greater range of motion. The last addition that I'll make to this exercise, we have movement of our hips, movement of our rib cage, and movement of our neck. We'll just include the upper body and rotating our hands in with that motion. So on your inhale, you're going to rotate outwards as you lift your chest, drop your chin to your chest, and as you exhale, palms turn downwards. So inhale, exhale, and that is the floor cog exercise, not only using the pelvis, rib cage, and neck, but also including the upper body in that motion.